Hello and welcome to the Super Basement Bros Show. My name is Connor and I'm joined by my co-host Tanner in is Destiny? Is that
Yep.
right? Okay, in Destiny, and then Hasten in E3 because that's what
I'm
we're going to
at
be talking
E3,
about.
guys.
At
Connor's at
E3.
Arkham Asylum.
And then I'm at Arkham Asylum. They finally came after me and got me. It's very unfortunate, but Hasten actually his wallpaper is very apropos for today's episode because we're going to be talking about our predictions for E3. That's coming
Sadly,
up here in just a month. Pretty
sadly
crazy.
didn't get an E3 last year,
No.
so I couldn't be more excited for this year's E3.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Super bummer that we didn't get one last year. We had tickets and everything. Like we were ready to go to our first actual in-person E3. But they decided to come back this year with an all online digital event. And it sounds like their plan is to be back in person for next year. So hopefully it's sounding promising and good. I was really worried for this year when they canceled last year. A lot of people were like talking about like, do we even need E3? Blah blah blah, all this crap. And it sounds like they got most of the major publishers. You know, we have confirmation that Nintendo's going to be there, Xbox, a lot of the other big ones, Ubisoft.
Ubisoft, Square Enix, Capcom, Warner Bros, Sega, Bandai,
Oh, you got
Gearbox.
this. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
the big
basically
ones,
the
really.
only ones that aren't going to be there are Sony, which they haven't been there for years at this point, and then EA technically won't be there either. But they are doing an event in July, their own personal event.
I think Sony will do something in June
I
around
think
that.
so too. Yeah, They had their big PS5 unveiling, like game unveiling event in June last year. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get another thing like that this June.
Yeah.
At least that's what I'm hoping for, just so we can get that full E3 experience.
Yeah. Um yeah, I miss E3 so much, and I think Nintendo's with my personal thing. I think Nintendo's gonna dominate this year at this E3 specifically. I agree. I actually think that Xbox will have a lot
I
though.
I think
Their new
Bethesda
purchase.
will have a lot this year.
Right, which is now Xbox though.
Which is Xbox.
I mean,
So
I think that potentially we might get Starfield announcement.
it's
year.
almost sounding guaranteed at this point.
Yeah.
We're going to get a Starfield.
Which that's something we need to talk about as well, is Starfield in general, because there's a lot of crazy news going on.
Have they
with
announced
Starfield.
really anything about it?
Well, that it's exclusive.
Well, oh yeah, that Starfield's going to be
Yikes.
completely exclusive. No
That's
PS5
that's gonna be
availability. That's harsh.
Yeah.
for-
We'll have to talk about that definitely for way more, because that brings up a lot of potential for their other games as
future,
well.
like
Yeah.
Sky, like Elder Scrolls.
If Elder Scrolls 6 is exclusive, that'll be the biggest bombshell in gaming history, I feel like.
I mean, I think this Starfield thing is like
Oh, yeah.
insane because like it's legit it's a sole new IP made by one of the biggest developers,
For sure.
period.
I mean,
And
they've
it's
been
only
working
on
it for
Xbox and PC. So
5 years now, at least, maybe 4. I don't know. So it's gonna be huge. It might even be game of the year potential. We'll see.
yeah. Just double checking with you guys. My audio sound good? I had
Sounds
to
good.
adjust
Yeah.
a couple of things. Okay, cool.
Sounds
Yeah,
good.
no, that's crazy. So basically, it was confirmed yesterday, right? That it sounds like Starfield will be only coming to Xbox and PC, which is crazy because
When
that's
it was-
something that was one of those big things that we were all questioning if that was actually
Yeah.
going to happen or not. When Bethesda bought or Xbox bought Bethesda, we were like, is all this stuff might still come to PlayStation because that's the way Xbox has been. But we have solid confirmation now that arguably Bethesda's next biggest title is going to be 100% exclusive.
I think it was over Twitter as well. One of the developers, wasn't he just talking with a fan, answering questions or something? That's how it got kind of released.
From what I understand, is it's an industry insider named Jeffrey Grubb. He's pretty notorious for leaking things and getting them accurate. Like he's a pretty reputable journalist, very similar to like a Jason Schreier. And he basically confirmed on Twitter saying like, I've been getting a lot of questions about it and I'm here to definitively say Starfield is only coming to Xbox and PC. Like
Oh
definitively.
wow.
And so it's pretty like he's pretty trustworthy in that sense. I would have no reason to doubt him. And as far as I'm concerned, I think that's the way it'll be, at least for the foreseeable future. Maybe 3 or 4 years down the line, they might eventually release it on PlayStation or something like that.
I mean, I think that's nuts because did you hear? So Sony originally wanted Starfield to be a timed exclusive.
How the turntables
and it's kind of hilarious because like I guess now that can't happen. I just think like this is gonna be huge for Bethesda in general because I didn't think this was gonna happen. I know we talked about it before, but I did not think any of their big line games were gonna be exclusive. No way.
As far as like a business thing, it seems crazy. I mean, because you're gonna have it on Game Pass, so realistically, you're not gonna make a ton of money off of the $60.
That is crazy.
So
this thing is gonna be coming to Game Pass day one.
But once again, I think that will drive Xbox sales so much because so many people are going to be like, oh, I have to get an Xbox or I have to sign up for Game Pass.
They're just straight up. The Game Pass is what they're going to do because they could care less if they sell a Series X or anything like that. They barely make any money.
My question to you guys is, do you think in the long run this is a more profitable decision on Xbox's part or a less profitable one?
Well, I mean, if I'm honest, I would say probably less, but I don't think that's what they're going for. Mm-hmm. Obviously, like, it's not going to sell as well because they're limiting the consoles it can be on, like 100%. But I do think it's a smart decision because PlayStation has, we can't even lie, it has dominated the exclusive game field for 5 years now? Easily. Mm-hmm. Even more than that, since probably Halo 3, who knows? And so I think that this is huge for Xbox because this does give them a lot of ground of like, hey, we can make really great AAA games, even though it is Bethesda. It's just huge, in my opinion. I mean, we could see Xbox potentially making even greater games from now on.
I agree. I think it will probably be the smarter decision in the long run, like you said, because if you look at it from a perspective of this now forces people to either get an Xbox or PC if they have it.
Even Game Pass, though.
And then sign up for Game Pass. Like, guarantee you might as well, if you're going to get an Xbox for Starfield, you might as well get Game Pass. I mean, we've been saying this for years now. Like, if you have Xbox, you should have Game Pass.
If you don't, you're kind of missing out.
Even if you don't, I think this is going to be what's finally going to push those people.
Oh, yeah.
To be like, oh, well, now there's an actual AAA huge exclusive coming to Game Pass day one. There's no reason for me not to have Game Pass.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
As far as financially, I think this is like I think it's completely sustainable. It should be. Like, if you can't make money off of this, then you shouldn't be running a company, obviously. But $15 a month, you think about it, like you're only getting maybe 2 AAA games a year, probably, likely from Microsoft specifically, and then a lot of like indies, right? So realistically, you're overpaying. But not really, because you're getting so many other games.
In the long run, you're right.
They're getting $15 a month from you forever instead of $60.
Just $60
in November.
Once. Yeah,
$60 in November.
Yeah, it's super weird because Microsoft lately, and they've been this way for a while. They're pretty cagey, honestly, with their like financial numbers. They actually haven't released, I think, in years, like the exact numbers like Xbox Ones have sold. They just give like a blanket kind of like. Yeah, they
compared
just
to the other consoles,
they give just like a blanket, like, oh, it's around this number. They don't give the exacts, and it's the same with Game Pass right now. And so I think there's been like a bunch of reports and stuff like that, essentially trying to determine if Game Pass is profitable at this time. And it sounds like the general consensus is that it's not profitable yet, but it's just like with Netflix and all these other subscription services. They start out not profitable, and then you give it time, a few years, and they're
eventually
making a ton of money.
You have to. I don't know how. What was it like? They had how many subscribers was it? Like 22 million or something like that.
It was a lot. I just remember it being even more than their console sales.
And from that, even if you take it down to $10, like that's $200 and something million a month. Mm-hmm. Like that's insane. So over 2 years, they pay for their Bethesda transaction alone.
And the truth is like you look at Game Pass, they do have a lot of options, but they do have a lot of their own stuff. So you think about it, they're not losing money on their own games if their own games are on there. The only people they have to pay is like the indie developers and other games but now it's crazy. Game Pass, we have EA Play as well, which Game Pass, like you said, there's no reason not to have it at this point. There's really not.
That's a win-win for EA realistically, because all their
Yeah.
games have such microtrend. Like if EA released their numbers when they had their yearly conference talk or whatever, and they made like 80% of their sales on microtransactions only. Like 20% of their sales were from games, the rest were from microtransactions. So it's like, why not put it on Game Pass, like put Madden and FIFA and all this crap?
I think
Because
that's
people are going to spend more money anyway.
Yeah, I think that's something that's like a huge discussion to talk about. Is like, I think most companies are that way now too. Gaming developers in general make most of their money from microtransactions.
Yep.
You know.
Well, funny you should mention that. There was something that came out recently about Ubisoft, and Ubisoft saying that their new focus over the next however long is going to be on more games of service style games that can make them money, like evergreen style games versus just like huge AAA $60 single player games. They're going to put their efforts toward games that they can essentially charge, for playing the game, like most games of service.
Well, and like you can't deny the numbers. I'm sorry, but like people are always like, "Oh, this sucks," but people suck at voting with their wallet. Because like you look at games, I'm sorry, Epic Games released their freaking prices, and they made like $9 billion from Fortnite cosmetics. It's like
they made more
they're gonna do that.
Fortnite than EA made as a company.
Yeah.
It was insane.
And then they like Pokemon Go, like Niantic said, they made $1 billion in 2019, 900 million in 2020. I'm like, it's in the numbers. That's why they continue to do it.
But you gotta,
from a game sale, like you buy a game for $60 day one, right? You maybe sell 1 million copies. Like It Takes Two, right? The new game. It
Joseph
sold.
Ferris.
He didn't make that much in the grand scheme of how much he could have made with microtransactions, right?
Till Microsoft pays him to put it on Game Pass,
right? Which will happen, I think, eventually, for sure.
For sure. Or EA pays him to put it on EA Play, whatever.
Yeah.
So,
unless PlayStation gets to it first.
One thing I'm excited with Xbox is, have you guys seen all the stuff that Phil Spencer and them? Every single conference or like interview they've had a Switch in their background.
Yeah.
Really?
So every single one, like you look at Phil Spencer or what's the other dude's other head guy?
There's
he's like the inside Xbox.
Larry Herb.
Larry Herb, yeah.
Yeah.
And every single time either one of them are on, they have a Switch in the background.
Well, I forget who the main guy for xCloud is, the guy who develops it. He said, he tweeted, he's like, xCloud being on other consoles is not off the table. He said that. Like in a tweet. I don't know if it was in an interview or tweet. And so like that's huge potential, because he's not referring to PlayStation, at least right now. He's probably referring to Nintendo Switch.
I don't think
iOS.
that Game Pass is going to come to Switch anytime soon, but if it does, that will be literally insane.
And I think that not necessarily Game Pass will be soon, but I think more integration with Microsoft and Nintendo. We might see Halo Combat Evolved on the Switch.
Well, people have been pointing out like all the stuff on Phil Spencer's shelf has like somehow come into fruition. Like
he had the Series S,
the Series S, and then there was the Kojima thing with them.
The controller. He had
Kojima.
It's Halo's 20th anniversary this year, and it's Bungie's 30th. So we could see any number of remasters on the Switch or anything like that.
I know we've been saying that Xbox is going to do something with Nintendo since, I don't know, last 3 years.
They have done things,
but in this sense, I think something big is coming at this E3. So that's one of my predictions for E3, is that I think Xbox and Nintendo are partnering up in a big way, and they're gonna have something. I don't know if it'll be a Game Pass integration or even like an Xbox app integration into the thing with achievements, or
even like
something
that would be cool.
I think even something like Banjo-Kazooie. Right? I mean, that's Xbox owned. We could see that coming. Like even like a Mario 3-pack, where it comes with the Banjo-Kazooie games. That's something simple that, I mean, Microsoft has been doing that. They have Ori on there, the Cuphead, all these games that Microsoft owns technically, or at least has stocks in and stuff. And so having those on Switch alone is huge. So I just think like that's going to happen more and more, until they eventually become super good partners.
Yeah, I mean, talking about it, let's go ahead and start off with Xbox then, because they're probably the biggest company that's going to be at E3. I mean, besides Nintendo, those two mainly. But like, let's start off with Xbox and our main predictions of what's going to happen when Phil Spencer comes out on that stage. What can we expect to see, guys? What are you thinking is going to be the big, massive announcements from Microsoft?
Well, I think their big
Starfield.
one will be Starfield, but we've already talked about that. Otherwise, though, I think it's all up in the air. Like, I think we might get some more Fable, something from the Fable game.
You'd think so, right? You think we're going to
yeah.
see gameplay finally?
Something, and then there'll be, obviously there's going to be a ton of, I think they'll add a ton of games to Game Pass this summer. Like, it'll be a big, like, they'll have a ton of stuff like that.
I think they'll also announce more changes with xCloud coming to iOS and everything like that.
Yeah, possibly. I know they had their beta.
Going back to Starfield real fast, what do you guys think the release date's going to be?
I think this year.
or never. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys think this year?
The way it sounds like suddenly it's getting so much attention that I think the way Bethesda releases their games is they hold it off, don't say anything, and then it
starts gaining a bunch of traction, right?
Yeah. This is just like how every Bethesda game rolls out.
Look, like the truth is like Xbox has said publicly that they will not push Bethesda to do anything they don't want to do. But then again, Phil Spencer says stuff like, we want Elder Scrolls and these games to be our main things for Xbox. And so I do think to an extent, Xbox is pushing Bethesda to be like, hey, these need to be our priority, like right now.
My prediction,
Starfield this year.
I can't take full credit for this. I've seen other people predicting this, but I think it'll be Q1 2022. I think it'll be like spring next year. And I've seen a lot of people predicting that it will come out on February 22nd because that'll be 2/22/22, just like they did with Skyrim 11/11/11. And that would be pretty cool. I could see them doing something like that.
Yeah, I mean, but then that begs the question, like, what do you think about Elder Scrolls 6? Like, do you think that'll be exclusive?
2029.
Yeah, like 10 more years.
Well, and do you think it'll be exclusive? Do you think it's going to be exclusive?
Yeah.
It's
I mean, if they're making Starfield a brand new IP that obviously is made by Bethesda, the biggest RPG makers, I don't see why they wouldn't make this one.
I agree. I just think that would be insane.
I do too.
It's tough to say right now because Starfield, it makes more sense because it's a new IP, right?
Right.
Elder Scrolls has had a history of always being multi-platform. And so that would be a much bigger deal if that was announced as only coming to Xbox and PC. Like, people would be furious.
I mean, I tell you what, though, if Xbox wants that amount of traction that PlayStation gets, they'd have to do it. Elder Scrolls 6 would be the biggest thing to have exclusive. I mean, I don't even know what else they could have that would be exclusive. That would be as big as Elder Scrolls 6. I mean, Elder Scrolls games are like the Avengers movies where they're events when they come out. They're like obviously game of the year. So it's like that being exclusive would be huge. It'd be like insane.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I think Starfield will probably be spring next year. I agree with you guys. I think we're gonna see something major from Game Pass. I hope it's some sort of integration with Switch or other platforms. But I just think that's so much farther off. I think probably at least another year or two.
Who made Outer Worlds? What was their
Obsidian?
Obsidian. I think Obsidian.
Owned by Microsoft.
Yeah. Owned by Microsoft.
You think we'll see what's it called? Ashen? Or they're like Skyrim?
They're Skyrim, yeah. I don't think we'll see that this year, but they had another one that they were doing.
What are we going to see
I don't
first?
know. I could see another teaser for
Elder Scrolls 6.
No, definitely Ashen or whatever it's called.
Yeah, I would think
Elder Scrolls 6. I'm convinced Elder Scrolls 6 is 5. It's 2026, I think.
So it's going to be interesting because we have it confirmed essentially by Phil Spencer that they're going to do Xbox's show and Bethesda directly after. So they're almost going to treat Bethesda like a separate conference, but it's just going to go right into Bethesda.
I think that's really smart of them to do, though. You know,
I think it's cool
because people really look forward to Bethesda's specific conference, and so integrating it mixed in with the Xbox might not be the best idea.
It's going to be kind of weird because I've seen some people point out that Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo, which are both going to be coming to PlayStation first exclusively, like might show up at Bethesda's conference. And that's going to be kind of a weird thing that's like
during Xbox.
It's like, this is Xbox's show. Here's these two games that are coming to
The thing
play.
is Xbox
be like the
Xbox
logo in the background.
Xbox has come out and said they're like, yeah, we know we have some contracts we got to finish up, so
it's just
we'll
kind of a
deal-
weird
we'll deal
thing
with it.
that we're gonna be
I
seeing.
mean, if I'm honest, I think Xbox is going all in on the Bethesda stuff this year. You said, what do you expect? It's Bethesda all the way, because like they just finalized the deal. That's gonna be their big thing. They're gonna be like, hey, Bethesda. You know, they might even be like, you know, Skyrim remastered on the Series X. Who knows? Like, at this point, I think that they're gonna do everything they can to prove, like, hey, we have Bethesda now. You know, here's the games they can make. We might even see another Elder Scrolls teaser. You know, who knows?
Yeah. What do you guys say? Elder Scrolls or no? Will it show up?
No.
I'm gonna say no too.
I don't think so.
It's depressing, but no.
Yeah.
They might like say something like, "Hey, Elder Scrolls is still far out."
Yeah, they might mention it. I think there might be mention of it, but
let's say it now. Take a guess.
Yeah,
will it be mentioned in any capacity?
I think so.
I think it will. They will say something about it.
I think Todd Howard will say, like, and we're excited for our future, including Elder Scrolls 6. Like, I think that's all.
Yeah, I think he'll say it in like a jokey way too, like, and yes, we are still working on Elder Scrolls 6. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Any other predictions regarding Bethesda specifically?
Not Bethesda. I don't.
I do. New Vegas remaster.
Ooh.
It's been hinted at a lot. People are pretty convinced that it's going to happen, so I'm pretty sure.
That's a good one. I could see that for sure.
I don't think. I mean, it could happen, but I think if they did it, like Xbox would partner up with the company that made Outer Worlds. I can't think of it. I just lost
Obsidian.
Obsidian.
Well, and that's why it's a big rumor. Like, people are pretty convinced that that's gonna. I mean, I don't know.
It just seems way too soon.
Yeah, I mean, New Vegas is like beloved though. I think it's the most loved Fallout game out of all of them.
Maybe.
I know some people said that they might even see them integrate it into like Fallout 76. Who knows? But
I think we'll get something SSD with an extra space as far as hardware. Like we'll get a 2 terabyte or a 3 terabyte something.
And maybe
it's getting
bring
ridiculous
down the cost a little bit.
Yeah, it's getting ridiculous at this point because can't store anything on my console. You know, so
yeah, that is a problem. Xbox exclusive games besides Bethesda. What do we think? Any major predictions? I'm sure we'll see Perfect Dark.
Halo. We'll see Halo Infinite.
Halo Infinite.
Probably
the
they're gonna have it's gonna be a big conference. Like it's gonna be insane.
I
actually disagree.
Cuphead. Delicious course.
I don't think so.
Where the heck is that been?
Here's the way I look at it. Cuphead's crazy with their animations. It takes them forever to even animate one scene.
Yeah.
I think they scrapped the DLC idea and they're
just making it too. I hope so. I really hope that's what they're doing.
At this point, it's been 3 years since they announced it.
Yeah, for real. It's crazy to think Cuphead alone came out like 4 years ago now.
Yeah. And so I just think like it'd be kind of weird for them to all of a sudden be like DLC
5 years later.
So you have to go back to the Xbox One, like if you're on any other console.
Yeah, they'll put it on Series X, but still, it's like.
But even I don't know, like adding a DLC to a game like that is kind of old. Like
I think it's weird too.
Games that do that, it's not that I necessarily don't like it, but I don't think it's the best idea. Like
they could make so much more money if they just made it a standalone game.
Because like Borderlands did it with Borderlands 2. They're like, hey, Borderlands 3 got announced. By the way, there's a random DLC for a game that's 7 years old.
What would happen though, Tanner, if Elder Scrolls made Skyrim DLC?
Oh,
wouldn't
they finally released Redguard? Oh, dude.
Like, you buy it?
I remember in our old YouTube channel, I was like, they're going to announce Elder Scrolls Redguard DLC for Skyrim.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know. Like, the truth is, I wouldn't put it past them. I know that sounds crazy, but if they did, it would not be surprising in my opinion.
It would sell like crazy, too.
Yes.
New missions in Skyrim.
I'm sorry, but if they were like, we're still working on Elder Scrolls 6, but to hold you guys over, we have a special announcement, and they show a brand new DLC for Skyrim, I'd be like, take my money. I'll pay $60.
I hate my life.
Again.
I hate you guys so much, but here we go.
That would be a smart move, actually, on Bethesda's part. Like, in order to hold over people till Elder Scrolls 6, because we know it's years away still, they're just like, here is an expansion to Skyrim.
Yeah.
Exclusive on the Xbox Series X or something.
Granted, for a fact it would be memed into oblivion. People would be like, oh, they can't let Skyrim go.
Oblivion? Memed into Oblivion?
Yeah.
What if Oblivion DLC comes out?
We could see Oblivion like up-res, maybe. That's a possibility. Like maybe up-res, higher graphics. I don't know.
I don't think they're gonna do anything.
Maybe
As far as Elder
Morrowind.
Scrolls, I don't think they'll do anything because they're gonna be focused on Starfield.
I don't know though, because like ZeniMax, who makes Elder Scrolls Online, they said that Elder Scrolls content is about to be like blowing up. Like the creative director for Elder Scrolls Online, he was like, yeah, it's because of the Xbox purchase, like you're gonna see a lot of more Elder Scrolls. And so I'm thinking maybe Xbox hired a random team to like remaster Morrowind or something.
I mean, maybe we get Starfield this year and Elder Scrolls 6 next fall, but that's so unlikely.
That's so like hopeful,
Not gonna
but it's
happen.
not gonna happen. Yeah,
It's gonna be 2023 fall at the earliest.
I think
I agree.
2026 at the earliest. I literally do
Jesus
not.
Christ.
No,
Myself.
that's not even a joke. I'm telling you,
Dead
they're
by
making a whole new engine. Like Elder Scrolls always have new engines, and they're gonna it's gonna be a while.
What was I gonna say? Have you guys seen the alleged leaked Starfield screenshots?
I don't think they're
in-game?
alleged anymore. I think they're official.
Well, it's basically official, but once again, it's
Right.
not like none of it's confirmed.
Well, like they're leaked without being official. Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I mean.
I don't
Like,
know if I'm
it
a
looks
Bethesda.
It looks
fanboy?
really good.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm a Bethesda fanboy, but I showed it to some buddies from work, and they were like, "That looks like crap. That doesn't even look good."
Really?
And I was like, "What are you talking about? This
Are
is
they
a completely
Xbox-
new engine."
Are they
No,
PlayStation
they're
fanboys?
PlayStations. Yeah. So
It looks like the best looking Bethesda game I've ever seen.
well,
for
and
sure. Their old
is
engine
it-
was so bad. Like,
is it third
towards the
person
end.
then?
I think it's first person.
Because the
So
screenshots we've
people-
gotten are third
People
person,
were mentioning that it looks like you're gonna have the option like third and
like
first.
Skyrim
Yeah,
and
There was
stuff.
like
Okay.
there was a couple that looked like first person, and there was a couple where you could see your character.
I think
I'm
it'll be meant
excited.
to play in first person, but you can play it in third if you want, like Skyrim.
Yeah, I think it'll be that way too. If I'm being honest, I hope it's third person because I think that would be like a big departure for Bethesda to be like, hey, look, we are making like a Sony type single player
Third person.
third
right.
person game like that. And I think it would really sell over people if that was the case. Because if you look at Xbox's catalog, this is one thing I've kind of had an issue with. Most of their games are first person. Moving on with Xbox, let's talk a little more about Xbox's other studios that isn't Bethesda. They've been purchasing a ton of companies over the last few years, obviously. So what do you guys think they're all working on, and what are we going to see?
I was going to say that I actually disagree with what we were saying earlier about Ashen or whatever it's called, Obsidian's new game. I actually do think we'll see it this year.
I think we will too.
Because Obsidian is probably not like Elder or Bethesda, where they announce the games way. Yeah, it's
they
probably
get
like
things done in a reasonable amount of time.
Right, especially since we got a pretty lengthy teaser. Like,
yeah,
it wasn't just as simple as like the title, you know. So I do think we see it this year, at least. Them like gameplay, talking about it, everything. Even if it doesn't come out until Q1 of 2022, we'll see though.
I agree.
Avowed.
I think we'll see that too. Avowed. That's it.
Avowed. That's good.
Ashen.
It looks super cool. It looks like my kind of game. But...
It does, yeah, straight up.
Yeah. A prediction I have is that we are going to get a slew of announcements of Game Pass games coming day one that aren't Xbox exclusive or an Xbox studio.
Yeah.
Like we've been getting that a lot recently. Like we just had
MLB
The Show come day
made
one.
by PlayStation.
Made by PlayStation, which is crazy.
Weird.
Have you guys downloaded that? I downloaded it purely just to see the splash screen. It's so weird. Like you turn it on, and it's like PlayStation Studio.
That's so weird.
Playing on Xbox.
I hate PlayStation. So
well, it's weird because I went to Target
Jason's
today.
such a PlayStation hater, even though he loves Last of Us.
I went to Target, and at the Xbox like portion, they literally had MLB The Show as the main one, like they were advertised.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was weird.
That's funny. Yeah, they just announced Dungeons and Dragons, like a new game that looks just like Gauntlet. By the way, I've been meaning to tell you guys about this, but they just announced that's coming to Game Pass day one as well in June. And those are Dungeons and Dragons, like something, like there's some subtitle that I can't.
Dark Alliance.
Dark Alliance.
Probably
yeah.
lame. It's like a strategy game or something.
No, it looks cool. Like watch the gameplay trailer for it, and it looks like Gauntlet. It
Really?
looks like Gauntlet 7 Sorrows or something.
Dang, June
like that.
22nd.
Oh, wow.
That's so soon.
Yeah, and it's coming next month, coming day one to Game Pass. So one of my predictions is that they're gonna announce a bunch of games for the rest of this year coming to Game Pass day one that aren't exclusive. So maybe like some titles from Ubisoft, maybe some titles from EA. I think that's going to be a more common thing we're going to get with Game Pass.
Yeah, I mean, this looks pretty cool, actually. I think it'll be good for all of us to play it.
Yeah, it's 4-player like co-op game. It actually looks pretty sweet.
It's third person, which is kind of strange, but I guess
it's cool. I think
each of us, everyone has a different like third person view instead of like Gauntlet, where it was like a top down.
Yeah, it's not like top down. It's you have your own third person view, which is nice. But yeah, and then I think we're gonna get obviously Forza, the usual shiz like that.
Forza 8 or whatever they're on, Forza 9.
Yeah, we'll see Perfect Dark. I'm sure. I think we'll get a gameplay thing. One of my predictions is that I think we're gonna get some sort of major Rare announcement. I think we'll see more of what's it called? Their new Evergreen or something.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Everwild. Something like that. Yeah.
It's something with Ever. I don't know.
We'll see that, I'm sure. And then I have a pretty bold prediction that I think we're going to see something Banjo-Kazooie related.
I agree, actually. Just because like it's due time by now, I feel like. But
I don't think it'll be a new Banjo-Kazooie game necessarily.
I think it'll be a remake or remaster.
It could be a remake. It could be Banjo-Kazooie showing up in some other game, like as a character or, as a skin. I don't know, something like that. Like I think they will acknowledge Banjo-Kazooie in some capacity. I think it'd be awesome if it was Banjo 3 or whatever.
I'll try and make him a bigger Microsoft kind of character. You think?
Yeah.
I think something they should do is get Playtonics to make it, who made Yooka-Laylee. If they don't, because I know Rare has said that they don't want to work on Banjo, and that's why they haven't made one. Mm-hmm. Get another studio to do it. If
Playtonic would be perfect.
Why would Rare not want to make that? You know what I mean? Like that's a huge IP.
I think it's the same reason Bungie stopped making Halo. It's because when you get known for one type of game, one certain game, and you want to make something different, people get mad at you. They're like, you can't not make this.
Well, it's one of those things too, where it's like, I think Rare with like Sea of Thieves. I think Sea of Thieves has honestly caught on as a pretty like successful game at this point.
I agree.
Like when it first came out, obviously it had some struggles, but I think it has a pretty big fan base at this point. And I think they're getting some good, like they have like a battle pass now and stuff like that.
Well, and I mean, it's been on the top of the charts on Steam since it came out on Steam.
Yeah. So I think they're seeing the dinero they're getting from that and maybe kind of being like, we kind of want to go with more games of this ilk.
Yeah.
Whether that's right or wrong.
Well, but Rare has confirmed on their live stream. They said that they want to be a 2-game studio, which is going to be Everwild and Sea of Thieves. And so
maybe there's a slight chance though that Everwild isn't like a games of service type game, and it comes.
I don't think it will be
working on something else, but
it would be kind of honest, like
if that's all they worked on.
I do think Everwild will be more of their traditional game, where it's just a one and done kind of adventure game. I don't think it'll be a games of service. It just doesn't seem that way, or it hasn't come off that way at least yet.
Yeah, we know next to nothing about it, but I hope it's not.
I think we'll get something from that studio, the AAA, the Perfect. They're making Perfect Dark. Never mind.
Yes. Oh, but isn't there
that big studio?
The Initiative?
I thought that isn't the Initiative making the Perfect Dark?
Yeah, I think you're right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we'll get that. Which I don't know anything about Perfect Dark. I never.
There's also it was a Rare title.
Yeah, it was Rare back in the day.
So,
it's supposed to be like
stuff.
Yeah, they're actually starting to utilize their IP, which is smart. But yeah, no, Perfect Dark's kind of like it was basically a copycat of GoldenEye, like the N64 GoldenEye. So just like a 4-player shooter kind of game. But I know
they have at least 4 new IPs. I think there'll be at least 4 new IPs. I think they said they're working on like 18 different new IPs and 23 total games. So like I think we'll at least get 4 brand new IPs of something.
Yeah.
And like they said, most of them haven't even been announced yet. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this has the potential to be a really banger E3 from Xbox. I say that now, and then we're gonna clip out later
be
the
like,
Curb
this
Your
is
Enthusiasm thing.
I know last year all of the events, every event last year was just depressing to even watch.
Except for PlayStation's, that
yeah,
show
PlayStation
in
did have a
June
good
was
one.
amazing.
Yes.
And
But
that's the thing is
otherwise, it's
like we've been saying this for years now, honestly, with Xbox, in terms of like they've been buying all these studios, and we know at some point they have to reveal all these studios.
something.
And
One thing.
It's just been like this super slow trickle process. It's been like, okay, we got Perfect Dark last year announced and Fable, and then there's like a couple things, but I kind of want like a big slew announcement. I want to be like, here's gameplay of this, here's gameplay of that, here's what Bethesda's doing, here's this and this, and like,
I don't know. I feel like
that
to
would just be
expect
so
that,
epic.
though, I don't think that's gonna happen. Like,
I
I
don't
just
think
think that Xbox is on this path where it's slow,
Mhm.
but surely, like it'll be over the next 5 years. We'll get everything announced. I don't think it's gonna be this like
I hate
2021
that though. Like
announcing everything. Yeah,
you're gonna get more press if you just do one big event.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Like one huge event that has all this crap. You know what I mean?
I mean, I don't like it, but I actually disagree with that because I actually think you get more press the slower it is, because then it's like, oh, here's Fable, right? And then you have months without anything. And then, oh, here's Forza, months without anything. And then here's this. And instead of just one big, huge show, and then you go a year or two without anything.
The thing is, though, is the way they're doing it. They're getting such bad press because you
I agree,
say,
yeah.
"Hey, we're making Perfect Dark. Here, we don't have anything about it,
Yeah.
but next year we'll have some stuff, and then we'll have another thing that's like we're making this big game,
Yeah.
but we don't have anything about it. So next year we'll, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, totally. I agree with you. I prefer it all revealed, kind of like a big announcement thing with the gameplay, all that, the whole shebang. But I think we've been seeing lately with these companies almost like a slower reveal type thing. Like, it's over the course of a few months. Especially felt that way last year, and I get that COVID threw things off majorly, but it just felt like everything was such a trickle show. It was like, here's a little piece of this, a little piece of that, and there was no like huge major thing. That's why I loved the PlayStation show so much.
Yeah.
It was like Spider-Man Miles Morales, God of War, it's just like,
see, once again though, is like
Horizon.
There's downsides to both, and I actually hate that PlayStation and Nintendo both do that, because revealing games so early is really bad in my opinion. I mean, Xbox now does it because of Bethesda, but I like that Xbox is very traditional where they announce their games and it's coming out most likely that year, besides like Halo Infinite. But like with like Nintendo, with Nintendo being like, oh, Metroid Prime 4, 5 years later, nothing. Oh, Breath of the Wild 2, 3 years later, nothing. It's like, we don't like that. God of War Ragnarok, it's not coming out this year. There's no way. It's literally
hasn't been delayed yet. Somehow.
It also hasn't been announced. It hasn't been officially announced, like the release date. Because like you could say the same thing about
fall this year.
I mean, you could say the same thing about like Breath of the Wild 2, though. Oh, it hasn't been delayed, but it also hasn't been.
But they didn't say it was coming out this year, though. They didn't give a year that it was even coming out. They just said Breath of the Wild.
I'm confident it's not coming out this year. Like, they would have said something at this point. It's
I agree.
May. But it's May and we haven't seen anything.
Truth is, I'm thinking it's November. It's fall next year. It's not even early 2022.
I probably agree with you. I want it to be spring, but I'm thinking it's...
Well, look, I do think PlayStation learned from Nintendo. They saw how nice that can be when you announce your game so early, that it builds this hype, and so they're like, oh, why don't we do that? So they do that.
And there is something to be said about it too, because it sells systems, and that's what PlayStation and Nintendo really want to do. Xbox wants to sell a subscription
services, yeah.
But like it does sell consoles, because when they announced, that's what sold me on a PS5 last year. Like straight up is when they announced that whole conference, and they were like, Miles Morales day one, God of War the next year. I was like,
yeah,
I have to get a PS5 at launch because I want to play those games. I was going to wait on a PS5. I was going to be like, I can wait like a year. I don't need it at launch. But as soon as they announced that, I was like, well, F me, I need to get this right away. And
Granted,
then,
though, I will admit,
so the marketing won.
I felt the same way. And in fact, I was thinking, oh, when I get a console, I'm going to get a PlayStation, right? And I was thinking, okay, this year I'm going to get a PlayStation 5. But then I started to actually think. I was like convinced. I'm like, yeah, PlayStation 5, of course. Like, why wouldn't I? Then I started to think, I won't have Evan Game Pass. I will literally have no games on my PlayStation. Well, no, I know. But what I was saying is, like, I was going to get a PlayStation 5 so that, like, Gracie could play on and I could bring somewhere. But I'm thinking, I literally have no games.
Just get PlayStation Plus.
But I'm not paying another subscription service to get like 4 of their games.
It's worth it.
I don't know, like, but once again, like that's something that's so huge for Game Pass. You know, Game Pass is just all encompassing. If I'm like, oh, I want to get a Series X, I already have Game Pass. I'll have a million games on my Series X, plus all backwards compatibility.
I think the PlayStation Plus collection is a really good like
value.
Like it's a good it's a good competing thing right now for Game Pass. I know it's not competing really, but like they have all
but it's not even like a Game Pass.
Most of their first party games like are on there. There's 20 games like Last of Us and what I don't even know. There's top tier games.
I wouldn't necessarily say it's like a Game Pass though. It's more of a one and done. Like you get the game.
There's not anything that's the biggest question right now. Yeah, and I agree with Tanner in that sense. Is like as of right now, we don't know what it is because they announced all those games for it. It came out day one with PlayStation 5. And at this point, it's like, is that it? Are they going to add more or is that kind of it? You know, it remains to be seen. As of right now, I don't think it's a competitor.
Well, and you get it with PlayStation Plus, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's literally an ad. It's like
it's games with gold. If Games with Gold added 20 of the best selling,
it's Xbox like as if
no.
It's
I
like
disagree because they have their own. They have their own games with gold that you just get. Like you already get better games than Xbox.
But what we're saying is
it's like if when the Xbox Series X released, they had games with gold came with Halo Master Chief Collection, Sea of Thieves, all these games. It would be like that. It's not a subscription service. You're not getting new games. You're just getting it alongside games with gold.
I mean, it renews every year,
Plus.
so it is a
but you're paying for PlayStation Plus for the online anyway. It's just an added bonus to having.
I agree with Tanner that PlayStation Plus is not a competitor to Game Pass at all, in my opinion. It is purely a benefit to having a PlayStation.
Well, and I've never, I've also never realized how
same as Games with Gold.
The thing I think though is Tanner's not going to use his PlayStation anyway. So if he gets PlayStation Plus, he's going to get all the games he would want to play on his PlayStation, and then all the games that he otherwise he'll get on his PC.
No, the reason I'd want it, the reason I was thinking to get a new console was for like Gracie's sake and my sake when I'm like not on my PC. Otherwise, I'm going to play on my PC. And I was thinking, okay, I want to be able to play games like Call of Duty, right? The games that I already have on Xbox. But then I was thinking, oh, Game Pass has a million games. But then I realized I won't have Game Pass. I'll have games that I've already played, you know, or like, yeah, I'll have like Uncharted now and Spider-Man, but that'll last me like a week or two.
But you're also going to get if you don't have a PlayStation, you can't play Uncharted, you can't play Last of Us.
Well, true, but that's not what I was looking for.
That much,
but that's once again, that's not what I was looking for. I was looking for something that I could consistently play when I'm not able to play my PC, you know? And so it's like games like Uncharted and stuff. Yes, I could play that, but that'll be like a 2-week thing. I wanted more consistently, like where I could play my copy of Black Ops 3, which is right here, you know? And that's why backwards compatibility is so huge. It blows my mind that PlayStation still does not like embrace
it. Honestly shocks me sometimes that I forget that I'm like, I have this whatever disc of this game, I cannot play it on my PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Like that just
seems like
so
mind blowing. Yeah. Well, like even going to like I went to like James's house. Like I was able to bring Destiny 1, plug it into his Series X, and like boom, playing Destiny 1. I could never do that with I can't bring my copy of Destiny 1 of PlayStation 4, put it in my PlayStation 5, and the console blows up. It's like, what is this? What is this disc?
I mean, there are, to be fair, most PS4 games are backwards compatible with PS5. But yeah, if you go back
the PS4 exclusive games.
No, like most PS4 games.
Like Destiny 1?
Yeah. Yeah, like
there's like 10 total games that aren't.
Yeah. for PS4.
And they're like Assassin's Creed Liberation.
I heard the
like
exact
some other ones.
opposite though. I heard it was only like 1,000.
No, I promise. Yeah,
it's like all of the
like
games except for
10
10
games that can't.
And they're not big games.
But why wouldn't they just do those 10 at that point?
It's weird. I don't know.
I remember making a joke about
Ubisoft games.
See, that's weird because I remember making a joke about it on Twitter because when PlayStation announced it, they're like 1,000 games backwards compatibility or something, and then you look at the list, it's actually not that much.
No, it was the opposite. It's literally like 10 games that aren't backwards compatible. They put out a list when the console launched and stuff like that. It's literally like 10 games you've never heard of. The biggest one on there is like Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I think is the one that everyone was like, this is a random one not to have in there. But
yeah,
it's if you go back any further though, PS3 games, PS2 games, all that stuff, you can't remotely play on your PS5.
That's even you really look at it though, series like as far as Series X, there's not 360 games. Like there's only certain ones.
I've yet to put in a game that I can't play though. Once again, I think it's the
copy of Skyrim. Like you couldn't put your 360
but that's because
there's Skyrim in.
That's because there's Skyrim already. Look,
like any Call of
once
Duty,
again, I have literally never
mostly,
once put in a game on my Xbox and it's like, It's usually like, oh yeah, here, boot it up. I literally think it's even more of a niche amount of games than even PlayStation's. I literally think it's probably like the stupidest game, like Doritos Crash Course, which even that's backwards compatible.
It's actually a fun game. I actually played that recently for some achievements, and it's actually kind of fun. Not gonna lie, highly recommend.
But that is what I mean. I just think that's insane. I don't know. Like that's compatibility is huge on consoles. It's another thing that I think Nintendo struggles with. Like, come on. What's wrong with just letting us play your old games?
Let's
here.
Speaking
we'll
of,
make a copy $60 for 3 games from 30 years ago.
Let's actually this is the perfect segue into jumping over to Nintendo. Let's talk about Nintendo and E3. And I actually want to comment on what Hasten just held up right there. One of my predictions for Nintendo is that all 3 of those games, 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy, are going to be coming to the Nintendo eShop individually, $20 each, right after E3.
I wish I knew that. I would have not bought any of them but Sunshine.
I bet you they're going to announce it at the conference. They'll be like, and 3 of your favorite games will be returning individually, $20 each or $30 each, whatever it is. And my prediction is that Galaxy 2 will be in that as well.
Oh yeah, I could see that. In my honest opinion, I think there's only one thing that's happening with Nintendo, and it's just Zelda in general, because it's Zelda's anniversary this year. I think that they're going to start it off Breath of the Wild 2. Boom, new trailer. Prime? No, I don't think Metroid Prime. I think we have another year or two, because since they had to restart production, I just think it's still a ways.
I think Metroid Prime 4 is a no-show for sure.
Yeah. I think that what we'll see is it starts Breath of the Wild 2. I just think that Zelda's anniversary, I think it starts off, we either get maybe like pseudo gameplay where it's like the cutscene gameplay. I think that they talk about it a lot. I think that they also announce Zelda Collection where they have Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, and Ocarina of Time, or like Majora's Mask or something,
Yeah.
All remastered on the Switch.
I agree with you. I think Zelda is going to be the heavy focus for this conference for Nintendo, because like we said, it's the 35th anniversary?
30th?
Zelda? 35th. It's the same as Mario.
It's only like a year younger or something.
Yeah,
so it's like look it up.
Yeah, it's the 35th anniversary of Zelda, so they're going to go hard with it. We get Skyward Sword in July. I agree with Tanner. I think we're going to get like a collection similar to the Mario 3D All-Stars of Zelda games with like Ocarina, Majora's Mask, and Wind Waker, something like that. Hopefully we get Twilight
35.
Princess as well. Yeah, 35. And then Breath of the Wild I think will be the big thing. I think we will see Breath of the Wild, and I think we'll see gameplay. My prediction is that it'll be spring next year. I don't think it's going to hit this fall. I hope it does. I really hope it does, but I'm guessing spring.
And what Nintendo tends to do is they don't have hype releases. What they end up doing is they're like, yes, it's finally coming, and then it comes out on like a random Tuesday, March. Like what was it? Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing got delayed, and then they're like, oh yeah, by the way, it's out.
Delayed till like spring.
Yeah. I think with the Breath of the Wild thing, they'll do Breath of the Wild, and then they'll do like one more thing, and it'll be the Switch Pro.
Oh yeah, I think you're right.
And they'll be like
actually.
launching same day as Breath of the Wild.
Or I could see them saying like a higher res version on the Switch Pro, saying like Breath of the Wild 2 is like their launch title with it. You know,
I'm gonna make a prediction that the Switch Pro will not be at the conference, but I do think it's gonna be revealed, but just not at the conference. I think it's gonna be revealed like a few weeks later, or maybe like a couple weeks before.
what do you guys think the Switch Pro will even be though?
Better OLED screen.
It pretty much leaks.
It's basically what it's rumored. Yeah, it's an OLED screen, so like the
So still portable.
super
portable.
super. But then they decreased the bezel along the whole thing,
Yeah.
so that you get a bigger
that's
screen.
nice.
It's
Yeah.
basically just the Switch we have with the bezel gone, and that being a screen and OLED.
And a better. I think it has a better processor and
Yeah.
stuff. So
That's
That'd be
basically
nice.
it from what it sounds like.
Would it be 1080p instead of 720 then?
No, that's one of the big things that sounds like a bummer. Is we'll see.
What?
We will
That would
see,
be
no
but
way. It'll be
it does
1080p.
say it does
If they're doing
say
an OLED screen and they do 720p, something's wrong.
the leaks
Sorry,
right
I
now
expect
say it's
at
going to be
least-
720 still, which is crazy.
I expect
We'll
at
see.
least 30 FPS, a 1080p, because that's the minimum we should expect.
Yeah, I really hope it's 1080p. If it's not, that's going to be kind of
Disappointing.
weird. That's going to be very disappointing.
It's like, why would you even buy it if you're getting
Yeah.
720p on an OLED screen?
Mhm.
Yeah,
As of right now, like from what the leaks say, it's still going to be a 720 screen, which is really weird. I don't get why that would be the case. So we'll
E3
see.
is in June, correct, or July?
June.
It is
It's
week
less
after
than-
Memorial Day.
less than a month away.
Awesome.
So yeah, we're like 3
yeah.
weeks away from.
So Connor, do you think that we won't get a Super Smash Bros. Announcement until then?
Yeah, so that's actually a good segue into with the Smash characters. I think we're getting both characters. So we have 2 fighters left in the Fighter Pass 2 collection.
I agree.
And I think we're going to see both, and I think it's going to be similar to
Banjo and, Ken.
Hero.
Or yeah,
2 years ago, and I think it's going to open up with the 5th fighter, and then it's going to end with the last fighter. And I think this
You have a
pains
prediction?
me to say, it makes me sad.
4th and then 5th, you mean? Or?
No, 5th and 6th.
Oh,
This pains me to say, it makes me a little sad, but I do think this is the end. Like I really hope they announce a Fighter Pass 3, but I think this is going to be it. I think it's going to be these final 2, and that's all we're getting. And I'll throw out my 2 guesses. This isn't necessarily who I want, but I think it's going to be Ryu Hayabusa from Ninja Gaiden as the 5th fighter.
Oh.
And then the last fighter, the 6th and final one, I think is going to be Crash Bandicoot.
that'd be
cool.
sick. I think that'd be I'd be fine with that.
I think that'd be cool too. In an ideal world, my high hopes one would be the final fighter would be Master Chief, and
maybe that's what the big like Xbox Nintendo thing is.
yeah, that
So,
would be insane. And then
I
Leon,
actually think
of course,
you
from
do
Resident Evil.
have some sort of. I think it's going to be a Mii fighter. I think that Master Chief will be a Mii fighter. I think that they'll show helmet and thing.
I
Because
can
the
see
thing
that,
is
yeah.
like Master Chief is great. Don't get me wrong. Love Master Chief. Yes, you could make a move set for him, but he's just a shooter game, right? And so it'd be like random A moves. And so I think the way Sakurai is going to look at it is, I already have the Mii gunner. I'll just give him like the classic gun, or even like the energy sword for me, sword fighter,
Mhm.
and it'll be the helmet and the costume, and that's it.
Yeah,
My
I think that's highly likely.
I think it's gonna. This is completely gonna be wrong, but I think it's gonna be
John Madden.
Master Chief for the next one that comes out. So he'll
Mm.
release with
Infinite.
when Halo Infinite comes out, he'll come to Smash
Okay.
as well.
That'd be
And
cool.
then who for 6? Gosh, I don't even know.
John Madden.
John
that was
Madden from
that was my
Madden.
favorite
Didn't
prediction.
he say
Hasten
that?
ever made. Yeah,
yeah.
It was like when one of
But
our
I was
first
like,
Super
when I
Basement Bro
never played
episodes.
any of it.
Yeah,
it's
Hasten
like
was
John
like,
Madden for
I think I'll just say John Madden is one of my DLC picks.
Can you imagine? We get Master Chief, it's his hype trailer, and then after, like John Madden comes walking
John
in,
Madden.
like,
That
"Hello,
would
Chief."
such a
What if they did? What if they did Master Chief and Doom Guy?
that would be awesome.
Like
I
for
think
5 and 6, it's Master Chief, and then at the end of the show, they do Doom Guy.
if I'm honest,
I would
that is
love
my
that.
ideal. That is my ideal announcement.
I think that
Like
would be
Master
a
Chief Doom Guy.
sick combo. I don't think there's a chance of it happening, only because I
In
think
fact-
for one, people would probably be pissed that like 2 characters that look very similar got announced.
Oh, people would love that. Everyone would love that.
I will love it.
Because first of all, there's like the Master Chief
Western
audiences
would love it.
Well, Tanner makes a good point. Western audiences would love it. It would be Japanese audiences that would hate that.
They would hate it.
Those are two Western characters.
Look, and Payson actually is on something.
Get over it. You know how many Japanese characters are in that game?
I could easily see both of them being Mii fighters. Even Doom Guy, because Nintendo had that whole big Doom celebration thing where they released every single previous Doom game. Like, I think that I'm surprised that Doom hasn't gotten representation in Smash Bros. Yet. So I could easily see it being like this cool thing where it's like Smash Bros. X Microsoft, and then it shows Master Chief,
Doom Guy,
and then Doom Guy.
Chief, yeah.
So the Smash for Doom Guy is just he rips off every character's head, whoever it is.
That would be so cool. This is exactly why I
Master
want
Chief gets his laser sword, and he just
uppercuts. It's like all bloody.
I think it would be so cool if they announced Doom Guy and Scorpion from Mortal Kombat.
Get over here!
And his final smash is a fatality.
Rips off their spine.
It's never
that's not happening.
Never gonna happen. But
that would be awesome. They make like a rated M version of Smash Bros. It has the same cartoony characters, but you can only play as the gruesome ones. So you can like rip off Peach's head and pull out her spine. Get over here. That'd be
so cool. Not gonna happen. Who do you guys, Tanner? Do you have any legit predictions of who you?
Yeah.
Like not your hopes, but like.
That's my legit predictions.
One thing
by the way.
I've noticed about Nintendo is they do not like making their Smash characters correlate with what's releasing.
No, yep.
We've always hoped that. Oh, well, Luigi's Mansion 2 is coming out. We're going to get King Boo. No.
Yeah, no.
So that's why I was originally going to say, Zelda character, because Breath of the Wild. No, I actually don't think. It's going to be the most random A characters that we're going to be like, what the frick? Like, why are they...
from another Final Fantasy character or something.
Yeah. Legit, like it could be. If I'm honest, I don't have like legit predictions. My prediction would be somebody we don't expect and somebody that we don't want.
Yeah,
that's my prediction. I couldn't put it.
Prediction is that it's gonna suck.
No, like no joke.
No, I agree. I think that's legit.
And like I think the appreciation we got that Sakurai thinks is like, hey, I helped you. Banjo. Because I think after that, he's like, I'm doing the anime characters that I think are hot.
Yeah, no, for real.
Crazy. So that's why I just think like we're gonna be sitting there and we're gonna be like, Master Chief, Doom Guy, Dovahkiin, something sick, and then it'll be or like Crash Bandicoot. I'd be happy with Crash, Spyro, Waluigi. I guarantee you, it's gonna be like the little like sun guy from Final Fantasy that has like the staff, and then it's gonna be the little blue blob from freaking whatever it's called, Dragon Quest.
What if it's Waluigi and Wario?
We already have Wario,
so that would be weird.
Oh, he is in there. That's right.
They're like Wario's the DLC 6.
We're doing another version of him. It's like you just
version of Wario.
You just paid for the season pass to pay for the same character that's already in the game.
Watch them release and they're like,
instead, this one is the Elon Musk costume.
Yeah, we added Elon Musk to Smash Bros. No, except this time he's gonna announce it and he's like, okay, DLC 5 is Nintendo 64 version of Mario. He has the same moves, but it's the Nintendo 64
I think a couple options that I think are legit possibilities that I wouldn't want, but a lot of people seem to do is like Paper Mario, which would be another. I know a lot of people would be fine with that, but it would be like, come on, another version of Mario.
We already have Dr. Mario.
It'd be like adding another version of Link. It's like here's
Toon Link, Young Link,
Toon Young Link, Toon Adult,
Toon Young Link. Yeah.
And then I think another legit possibility is like Impa from Zelda.
Yeah.
Because people really want another Zelda rep, and I could see Impa being it.
That'd be cool.
I think we're gonna get Smash 4 Link before he turned into Breath of the Wild Link. So he'll have the original bomb.
Oh yeah,
I think that's
that would be hilarious.
Yeah,
I'd be so pissed.
Yeah. Anything else with Nintendo you guys have? My biggest things is I want Breath of the Wild 2 and Switch Pro. Otherwise, I'm happy. If they do those two things, I'm happy.
Honestly, I'll be real. if Breath of the Wild 2 is there in
It's
gameplay
they
form,
win.
it's fine. Like I wouldn't
I'm
need
gonna have to
anything
bring
else.
some napkins.
I
Some
wouldn't
moisturizer.
like don't get me like I would be like I want Smash Bros there, right? But honestly, I'm fine if Smash Bros takes another year because it's just going to make me sad to finally know the last two characters. So
Yeah.
like if it's just Breath of the Wild 2, I am completely happy.
Mhm.
Like that'll be fine by me.
I agree.
But a big one that I want to talk about is the recent rumors of the 3D Mario team potentially working on a 3D Donkey Kong game. Have you guys heard about
I heard about that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is interesting. It's not necessarily what I would want them to be working on. I want them to be working on Odyssey 2, but it sounds like it's pretty legit. Like,
I'm honest though, I'd love to see Donkey Kong come back into the limelight and not from a country game. Because like I love the Donkey Kong country games, like the old ones, but I want like a Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong's a huge IP for them.
Oh yeah,
and I feel like he hasn't gotten a lot of representation. Just like Samus, though. I mean, we can't say like Samus, but like, it'd be sick to get like a cool full length Odyssey type Donkey Kong game.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, I agree with you. Honestly, like, what was the last 3D Donkey Kong game? I think it was on the
Tropical
64.
Freeze.
Well, that was 2D.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying like 3. I think it was Donkey Kong 64.
Yeah, Adventure.
Something
Yeah,
like
it was
that.
Donkey Kong 64. I'm pretty
Like,
sure that was. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's about time to get another 3D Donkey Kong game. I will say what would hugely disappoint me, and this has nothing to do with me being against 2D Donkey Kong games. I actually loved Tropical Freeze and Country Returns. I think they were both great. But if the 3D Mario team has been working on a 2D Donkey Kong game for
you
the
could have had
last
anybody else make
4
that.
years,
Yeah,
that would be extremely disappointing.
well, and that's such a wasted potential on such a great team that has made great games. Like, not that it wouldn't be great.
No,
But
it would probably be one of the
3D
best 2D platformers of all time.
Yeah,
But it would just be like, it would just kind of be disappointing in the sense like,
wasted
man,
potential.
Yeah, like I would much rather have you guys doing a 3D game or a Mario Odyssey.
That's like Naughty Dog coming out and they're like, all right, Naughty Dog is making
Jack and Daxter.
Ratchet and Clank 2.
Yeah.
Like,
Or like Jack, we're going back to Jack and Daxter. It's like,
yeah, Jack and Daxter. It's like, okay, like that's cool, but it's wasted potential. Like, make the big games we want.
Yeah, have another studio take over those games.
I think a more unrealistic announcement, maybe N64 Classic.
Small. Oh my gosh,
GameCube.
I hope so.
Just
kidding. Freaking hope so.
GameCube already. They just skipped
the N64.
Like, yeah, GameCube.
That's all I care about. Just go GameCube.
Going off that
N64,
point,
bro.
I never played N64, so that's why.
Hasten's lame sauce.
My first console was really my first console was really GameCube, so that's why I'm like, eh.
No, I think going off that point, Tanner, I think the N64 library for the Nintendo eShop, or what is it called?
Yeah,
Nintendo,
online.
Online. I think that's a possibility. I would love.
That's where I could
Classic,
see,
but I think it's more likely that we get like the online games.
Well, and that's where I could see the integration with Microsoft. I think that they can't do N64 without games like Banjo, any of the Rare games.
Any of the Rare games, yeah.
Like Rare dominated N64, and so that's why I think that's where the whole Microsoft like mixing with Nintendo is going to be. I don't think I see anything else. Like, I don't think we see Game Pass. I don't think we see
not yet
any other big release. I literally think it would be a port of old Rare games to Switch Online, or just straight up re-releasing them like the 3D Mario games.
I agree with you. I think it would be cool to get the N64 Classic as well, but I think they're taking a break on those for whatever reason.
They might be done with them for good, though, if you really think about it. Because we're at the point,
thing.
Like, the
they're
other
starting
two
to have more value.
Right. Well, and like, I'm sorry, but the other ones were needed because they were such old consoles that you wanted to get the original feeling. We're at the point we're at 3D consoles. You can just make them on the you just remake them on the current console.
Well, it's also the thing of where the N64 games are going to be like, as we've seen with Mario 64, they just released it in a bundle for $60, right? A game that's been
very profitable.
25 years old at this point.
They wouldn't get away with selling a game like Super Mario World for $60.
For $60, exactly.
But they could do it with Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
Banjo
exactly.
Kazooie on the Switch. Nothing's new. It's just a port. $60.
Yeah, Banjo 1, 2, and
Nuts and Bolts
or something, and it's $60. They could totally do that, guaranteed.
People are like, get rid of Nuts and Bolts, and you got a deal.
Yeah, people are, just take that away. It's funny because like that's the one we grew up playing first, and I actually like Nuts and Bolts.
If I'm honest, I love Banjo. I think Nuts and Bolts is my favorite.
I love Nuts and Bolts. I think it's really fun. Actually, I love making the vehicals and stuff like that.
Here's the thing. I saw somebody say,
bad.
this is just like a little tangent. Somebody said in a video, it was like Nuts and Bolts in a nutshell, right? Like pun intended. But Nuts and Bolts is a really good game. It's really fun. It's got a great, unique idea. The reason it didn't go over well, though, is because it's like if they were like, okay, Mario Odyssey 2 is coming out, except it's not a 3D platformer. It's not an adventure game. It's a strategy puzzle game like Halo Wars.
Yeah, exactly.
People would be like, the fuck? Like, even if it was really good.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
And so, like, that's where I think, because, like, Nuts and Bolts is a good game. Like, it is. Like, going back, agree. Like, they did take, it's Rare. Like, Rare can't really go wrong with the game like that. But yeah, I do think they did not do a good job. It's
polished, too. Like, that game is polished. It feels like a legit game.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I can see why people didn't like it at the time, because it was like, this isn't Banjo-Kazooie.
This isn't a 3D platformer. Like,
Obviously, I'm the least Nintendo
I'm going to throw out a wild...
I will say, Nintendo's getting me. Like, I love
Nintendo,
now.
let's go.
Nintendo all the way.
Breath of the Wild.
Still an Xbox, but...
Breath of the Wild got hastened. I'm so happy. I'm so happy that happened.
Well, that and like I love Mario Kart, and I'm actually I play Smash Bros with some buddies from work every day.
Yeah,
like it's fun.
Yeah, Nintendo's great, dude. I love Nintendo.
Mario Odyssey, I beat that. That was fun.
Such a great game.
I will say Mario 64. I'm pretty happy that I didn't
watch
ever
your words.
Play it.
Watch your words, bro.
I agree. Because it's kind of trash,
dude. Okay. I was gonna. So when I first booted up Mario 64 again on the 3D All Stars collection, it had been years since I've played it. I played that game all the time as a kid. It was my first game ever. Like probably, arguably, the most important game to me ever, because that's what started it all.
Right.
But like when I first started playing it, I was like, ooh. Like, this is weird. Like, I forgot how heavy Mario feels in this. But I tell you what I will say, after beating it and getting all 120 stars, like I 100%ed it, that game holds up.
Yeah,
like
that's what I was going to say.
It holds up so well for being 25 years old.
Gameplay-wise, it has stood the test of time. Like, for sure. Like, maybe not visuals, like, but once again, they have progressed so much with 3D Mario games, because like it's still so great, but it is nothing like the new ones. The new ones have made it so much more nice to jump around and even just move.
Yeah, I agree. The thing is, like, I think Mario 64 holds up so well to this day, gameplay wise. Like, I had a blast with it. I could play it. It wasn't like insanely hard to pick up on after playing for a few minutes. But I played them all in order. Like I went through and then I did Sunshine and then Galaxy. And then I jumped back into Odyssey a bit and collected some moons. And I tell you what, it is crazy. Like Odyssey has perfected Mario movement for me. Yeah. It feels so good. And it's insane.
Mario
like
Odyssey
each one progressively got better.
I think that's what I did wrong though, is I went from Odyssey is my first Mario game I ever beat to starting with Mario 64.
And you're like,
yeah. And that's tough. And I can't blame.
And then I just skipped it and I was like, I'm going to Sunshine because I can't do 64. Yeah. So, and I don't blame you. Beat Sunshine because I was like, this is kind of boring.
How dare you, sir? Sunshine's so good. Those games hold so much nostalgia for me. Just
that's the thing though. They don't for me.
Yeah.
So,
and I totally get that. Shut up, Hasten. You
Madden
suck.
08 holds some nostalgia for me.
Dude, let's
yeah, okay.
They need to remaster Madden 08.
Like
that would be freaking
specifically
sick.
Madden 08.
That'd be so.
No,
random.
I'm serious. If they remastered Madden 08, I think
we have 25 Madden.
Oh yeah, I would love that.
Yeah, can you imagine? They're like, we have 25 Madden games. Madden 08 is getting
remastered. Know what they need to do?
It's widely considered as the best Madden.
I figured out the solution, dude. When they get to Madden 2025, which will be in like a couple years now, instead of doing that, because they already had Madden 25, do Madden 08 remastered.
Or better yet,
take a year off at the
start regressing and start re-releasing the game that came out the year before. Nobody would
There
even
we
know.
go.
It'll slowly get
Nobody
better.
would know.
No, people would literally not even know.
No,
In
I know.
2025,
No,
release 2024.
we'll notice it'll slowly get better in like 10 years.
Right. And then by 2038, Madden 08 will be back out, and people will be like, the new Madden is so good. The graphics are kind of crap, but it's so good. And they're like, yeah, it's Madden 08. It released 20 years ago.
I will say that's my number one hope and prediction for EA in July is Madden 08 remaster.
Madden 08.
Let's freaking go, bro. It's not
Mine's
gonna happen.
Street football is legit getting some push on the internet. So
Hey, we might see NCAA too.
NCAA could be coming out, and I'll probably buy that. We'll see how they try and monetize that. It's going to be terrible, I'm sure.
If we're segueing into EA, then
I'll jump in.
Well,
real fast. One last crazy prediction for Nintendo is I just want to say, so they've been releasing like the 99 games. You guys know how they
Pac-Man,
Mario,
Tetris,
Pac-Man, the Mario. Yeah, they've had like, and they're all Nintendo Online things. I think they're going to do something with F-Zero. I think that's how F-Zero comes back. Captain Falcon finally making his return in like
I could see that
Nintendo Online 99 Battle Royale type game. Last prediction I had for Nintendo.
I had a thing. So Warner Bros. Games is going to be at E3. It says on their list. Do you think that's the Harry Potter game, or do you think it's this Arkham Knights?
Harry Potter
it's probably
didn't get delayed,
but they're delayed. I don't think we'll see them. I don't think
we'll see. So why are they there? What are they showing?
I think it's probably there purely for
and also just
push.
Also just like reminding people that those games are a thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I bet.
Here's the same.
I think
trailer.
they'll show both of those. I think they'll have something for both of those games.
Really? Where do you think they show up though? Because like this is the weird thing that we don't.
Aren't they having their own conference?
Well, no. See, that's the weird thing we don't know yet. That's what I'm talking about. Is it's weird because like all these publishers have announced that they're going to be there, but we don't even know when like the time Xbox's conference is yet. It's so weird. So we don't know if Warner Bros. Is going to have their own conference.
They're going to do them all at the same time on the same stage.
Yeah, or if they're
I think it'll be talking at the same time. They're like,
the thing is,
hey, Microsoft,
it's like, oh wow, that was horrible.
Nintendo.
There were
Xbox,
so many big announcements. Holy crap!
Wow! Oh my gosh, Master Chief was in Forza.
Nintendo, Xbox, Ubisoft, and Square Enix will all have their own conference, right? And then there's
those again, sorry.
Nintendo, Xbox, Ubisoft, and Square Enix. They'll all have their own conference. They always do. Mm-hmm. But then you have Capcom, Warner Bros. Games,
Bandai
Sega,
Namco.
And Bandai, and Gearbox, which will probably be in the Xbox stuff, I imagine.
That's what I'm thinking.
Gearbox,
is the thing is like I bet a lot of these guys show up in like Xbox or I guess that would be it, Xbox or Nintendo, because they're not going to show up in Ubisoft or Square Enix. But
we have to remember those. I don't know if E3 is going to be all physical. I do think there's going to be the physical announcements where it's like the people on stage, but then they'll cut to digital announcements like a Nintendo Direct, where it'll be like the Gearbox Direct. Oh, now Gearbox has things to announce, and then it'll show like a pre-recorded message from Randy Pitchford, and he's like, Borderlands movie is coming out. Here's a trailer for the movie or something. I don't know.
If they announce a single movie, I'm going to be so annoyed. Honestly.
Tanner, you actually bring up a really good point, Tanner.
But video game movies,
we have no idea how they're going to run it this year, and you could be right, where it's just they're jumping back and forth between like, oh, and now a special message from Gearbox.
I actually think it's unlikely. I think it's
3 days
unlikely.
of the conference.
I do think it's unlikely that it's not that way, because like that's just how it has been. I mean, even Nintendo's been doing the directs. The last time they did like a physical stage conference was like 5 years ago. 6 years ago.
Well, yeah, I'm not thinking they're going to do something like that. I think it.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I think a lot of companies will do just like a digital conference.
My biggest question is like, what times are the conferences going to be? Like,
I think what we're going to know.
I think you're going to have Nintendo one day, along with Ubisoft or Square
Nintendo,
Enix. And then you're going to have Xbox one day,
will be
along
Tuesday
with Ubisoft and Square Enix.
So I think the dates. Do we have the exact dates, Jason? Do you have them?
Yeah, it's what the heck? June 12th to the 15th, which is a Sunday to a Tuesday.
So I guarantee you Xbox and Bethesda are Sunday. They always have been. Like for the last few years, Xbox and Bethesda. Bethesda usually goes Sunday night, and Xbox.
Or sorry,
goes
it's a Saturday to a Tuesday.
Saturday to a Tuesday.
It's 4 days.
Weird. Okay. I still think Xbox and Bethesda Sunday because that's how it's usually been. And then I think Nintendo will be Tuesday morning. And then Ubisoft and Square Enix will be Monday. Like if we
But what are they
judge
doing
off
Sunday
of history, Xbox and Bethesda. Saturday is the one we don't know then. That'd be weird.
I would think they would do one on Saturday, one on Sunday, one on Monday, one on Tuesday.
Possibly. I don't think they are going to necessarily organize around the days though. I think they're going to organize around what they usually have done.
Yeah.
And like based on the last few years, that's exactly the lineup they've had it.
Seems like too many days in my opinion.
It is a lot of days.
Like just do 3 days like you've always done.
Yeah. It's probably because they're going to do like, I bet you Saturday. Remember, Saturday in the past has always been the lame day. Like it's usually EA. EA's on Saturday and that's it. And then they just do like demos and like shiz like that.
I guess they're not done inviting people either. Like I guess more studios could join.
Yeah. I think we're going to have the traditional press conferences of the main publishers, and then people like Warner Bros, Sega, I think they show up at Xbox and other conferences.
I mean, we also have to remember, like, E3 is bigger than just E3. Like, E3 is a time now where game companies just announce stuff, even if it's not with E3 specifically, you know? Like, that time period.
Well, sure, that's what, like, Sony's going to be doing.
Right. Like, Sony will, Bungie, all these other guys.
Sony's will be Saturday.
Yeah,
like
and
Sony
just
does
not,
Saturday,
not be part
Xbox
of the E3
Sunday.
brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a possibility. I think PlayStation distances themselves from it. I wouldn't be surprised if we get PlayStation
2 weeks before.
2 weeks before, yeah. Like
I actually, yeah, I agree.
So like next week.
That would be so awesome.
Can you imagine?
Because it's legit. It's getting that close. It's like
it's true. I mean,
no announcements.
Memorial
They've got to
Day,
do something.
I'm gonna say
Literally
in a week and a half.
Like next, yeah, it's like next week.
I'm guessing either first week of June for PlayStation or the last week of June. I think they wait till the end of the month or the very beginning.
They might go first though. They might be like, "Hey, we got to get
yeah.
before Xbox and stuff," you know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, tough to say. And on the Warner Bros. Note, Hasten, yeah, I don't think my prediction. We don't see any Gotham Knights. We don't see any Rocksteady. We don't see Hogwarts. I don't think we see.
I mean, I think they mentioned
they all got delayed. It's like they all got delayed, and I just don't see why they would show it right now when we know they're not going to be out for another year at this point.
I just think maybe like Hogwarts got delayed, right? But maybe it only got delayed till spring or summer.
Possible.
So like maybe they'll have a release date. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I could see them mentioning it for sure. I don't think it's not going to be like no show, you know.
Don't get me wrong. I hope we get those because those are some of my most anticipated games, but I just don't think it's likely. Going back to EA though, Tanner, you were bringing up Titanfall 3.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think that we're gonna see some sort of Titanfall announcement, whether it's Titanfall 3 or not. Just because there's been so much hype around Titanfall stuff. I mean, the new Apex stuff, from what I've seen, very Titanfall inspired. And I've just seen that, like in the lore with Apex, they're mentioning a lot of Titanfall stuff. If I'm correct, the new hero or champion is a daughter of one of the pilots or something.
Her dad was a pilot,
right? And so I don't know. I just feel like Respawn has been hyping up, building lore for that universe. And when I say Titanfall 3, I mean Titanfall universe, because Apex Legends,
Apex,
right? Because Apex Legends is in the Titanfall universe, and so I think that they'll do a Apex Titanfall adventure game where you have the characters from Apex and adventure scenarios where their characters and everything to build their lore, because people love Apex. I mean, Apex just got a recent resurgence again because Apex was dead for so long and it just got revived because of the new recent season.
New season is great.
Yeah,
it's really good.
Like I've heard the new mode is nuts. Like it's really fun.
One thing that I will say though is that Respawn has come out and said they are not working on Titanfall 3,
but that's specifically
or any other Titanfall thing other than Apex.
But see, specifically, they mentioned Titanfall. Because Titanfall specifically, like I think it's going to be more around, because they know how much these people care about the Apex characters, you know. Because I think if we see a Titanfall 3, it's not going to be called Titanfall 3. It's going to be the sequel,
Titanfall Legends.
Right, or like Apex Pursuit or something.
Legends.
Yeah.
Apex.
I don't know.
Legends. That's a
Or
great.
Champion Arena. I don't know. Something cool.
Yeah,
I don't.
I think Titanfall Legends could be a cool one.
That'd be cool. I don't see them not introduce like having the Apex Legends play a part into it. I like that would be stupid of them to just be like, oh yeah, we have all these cool characters with Apex. We're gonna do some lame Titanfall
Apex
guys.
Titans.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be sick.
Something cool that so in the character trailer they announced, they were like, before all this happened, they said like before all this happened, there was pilots. So they kind of set up a story thing that like
this is in the
something
future.
something happened to make the battle royale thing become a thing between Titanfall 2 and Apex Legends.
And we could potentially see that, right?
Yeah, I think that's what we'll see is like you're gonna have Lifeline and Caustic and
Right.
all these characters. They're gonna be part of these stories of like what happened.
Right. Introducing them, showing their backstory. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time though. I think it's too soon. But I want that for sure. Now, like I'd be sick to see like what else is Revenant's story, or
I just have this feeling because like
we already got a Revenant story.
Seems like there was a period of time where Apex was just like MIA, and I feel like that's when Respawn was like full into the new game that they're making. Because it was right before they let a new company take over for Apex. You know what I mean?
Jedi Fallen Order.
Right. Well, I mean, but they have multiple. They could have split into a separate group.
They've been doing so much that I don't know how they would have enough time to do a whole nother project. You know what I mean?
But every time a company says that, because like I've heard that all the time too, and I agree. But people will say that they'll be like, "Oh, they said that about Destiny with their new expansions." They're like, "Oh, Destiny, they're using their whole team. They don't have actors, and they're not making a new expansion." Boom! They announced 4 expansions. It's like I think assuming that is not correct though, because they could have totally had a separate team go off. Okay, start working on the new game while we finish up Jedi Fallen Order. Then we'll come and help you with that. Since they have a team taking care of Apex. I mean, Jedi Fallen Order came out what? 2 years ago? Year and a half ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so they finished development on it 2 years ago, easily. So they've had 2 years to do whatever they want because they don't work on Apex anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I think that Jedi Fallen Order 2, I think is a legit possibility of seeing at EA.
Really, all EA has is Respawn at this point for like real people that like gaming. So
they just axed.
It's true though.
They just axed the Anthem, whatever, repurposed.
Yeah, the what's it called? No, I know what Tanner's talking about.
They were doing like
2.0.
They
2.0. They like just cut it. They're just like, yeah, we're done.
Like I guess they had been working on it for like 2 years. It was supposed to be like really good, and they're like, no.
That's the thing. They still have BioWare, but BioWare just released the Mass Effect Legendary Edition.
Well, aren't they? I bet they're working on a new Mass Effect.
I think weren't they working on 4?
Oh yes, the Mass Effect was just announced at the Game Awards.
Yeah, wasn't it just announced?
Yeah, like a new.
And they said like we're restarting Mass Effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a new reboot.
Kind of like how God of War, like a soft reboot. Yeah.
Yep. So that'll be cool.
They're doing that with so many classic games. Halo, God of War.
They're just going to call it Mass Effect.
Fable. Like all these big games are just getting soft reboots. They're like, we dug ourselves into a hole. We're just going to
restart it on Modern Warfare. Let's just do it again.
Yeah, even that. Mm-hmm. Which that perfect segue. Okay, so
Call of Duty, yeah.
Call of Duty. Activision announced that Sledgehammer Games is making the next Call of Duty,
and Treyarch's making the zombies. Yeah.
Treyarch will be making the zombies, which is super sick.
Here's my problem.
Idea.
Poor Treyarch, though, man. These guys
are getting screwed.
Getting thrown on every single project because
Activision loves them. They're like, okay. They're like, Treyarch, you're the only ones that we like. We're gonna make you do everything. Because everybody hates the other ones.
I know. I honestly feel bad for Treyarch because, I want them to be able to fully commit to one project.
One Call of Duty.
I feel like they're being kind of spread around to all these other projects because
here's what I think, though.
They are.
Call of Duty Cold War or Cold War Black Ops has gotten so little amount of zombies content. It's because Treyarch probably stopped and they're like, okay, we got to start working on World War II Vanguard. I am convinced that a zombies singular game will be coming out alongside the next Call of Duty. Not this year, 2022, whatever 2022's Call of Duty is, whether it's Modern Warfare 2, I think we will see a standalone zombies game with it.
Can I just
So
say...
me and Connor talked about this with Parker, which is funny because it's getting brought up in our podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we both had the same thought. And we were just like, I get that zombies players like this idea, but realistically, it's terrible.
I never said I like it. It's like 100% gonna happen though, because like Treyarch has always wanted to do this. They've always wanted to have zombies be the focus. Black Ops 4 was the closest they got to it, where zombies was the main thing they worried about. Multiplayer was second, and they didn't even have a campaign. They were like zombies all the way. And they've been wanting to do that for so long. I just see, for example, have you heard the rumors that Modern Warfare 3, their campaign's getting remastered?
Mm-mm.
So Modern Warfare 3
sucks. I wish it was the multiplayer.
Yeah, so Modern Warfare 3's campaign is basically confirmed to be remastered, just like how they did it with Modern Warfare 2 last year.
They're just,
because they did Modern Warfare 1, but they did the multiplayer as well, and then they did Modern Warfare 2 campaign only, and now they're doing Modern Warfare 3 campaign only, which is just so weird. But I think that next year, because I think Call of Duty's realized that they want to do that now. They want to release two Call of Duty things at the same time.
Give us Black Ops 2 remastered.
So that's the thing. As I think next year, people were thinking, oh, we're getting Black Ops 2. We're getting Black Ops 2. I don't think so. I think instead of having Treyarch remake and redo Black Ops 2, because they didn't do Black Ops 1, I think they're going to do the zombies singular game. And I actually agree with what Hason's saying. I do not want that. The reason why is because zombies is so special because it's additive to Call of Duty. It's not its own thing. Because I can be sitting there playing zombies, get bored, and jump into a multiplayer match.
Well, this
Having
is what,
it be just zombies, I don't know if that'd be great.
One thing Parker said was like they're gonna do more. Like if there's a singular zombies game, they're gonna do more, and it's gonna be better. And the realism is it's Activision, right? And we've done the same thing for 10 years now. And it's not going to do more because they're going to have the same amount of people working on it, and it's just going to be a $60 game.
Okay,
it's going to be separate from Call of Duty.
I can guarantee you I know exactly what it'll be. They're going to have every previous Treyarch Zombies map remastered, remade, and that's it. That is literally the game. And if there's extra content, it will be DLC. Here's the reason why, right? Treyarch has been doing this whole new seasonal model, right? And it's great. But the reason zombies is so stale in Cold War is because zombies is the reason people bought DLCs for the most part. It was for the zombies maps. So with this singular zombies game, it will be recycled content as the main game. $60. You just get all the old maps, right? And only the new maps will be DLCs, if there is any at all. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that the idea of a zombies-centric Call of Duty is a cool idea on paper, but I think it would be a way for Activision essentially to release a and I use this in quotations because whatever you think is worth the money is worth the money. But I think it compared to other Call of Duties, it wouldn't be worth a $7 price tag.
I'm sorry, but if they released any Call of Duty and they're like $60, but there's
it's just multiplayer.
People were even skeptical. People were skeptical even about Black Ops 4, where they're like, no campaign.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, who cares about the effing campaign? Even then, they were like $60. Yeah, being $60 for zombies only. Yeah, I do
70
agree.
Nowadays. That's the thing. Is it's like $70 for if they were just like it's just a campaign or it's just multiplayer. I feel like it's taking advantage of the audience a little bit.
The reason Activision will do this though is because their model right now is that Warzone is so successful, right? Call of Duty Cold War Zombies is the most successful Zombies has ever been, which blew my mind that it's more successful than Black Ops 2 Zombies, 3, and 4. All of them. I'm thinking Cold War is good, but it's not even that great, right?
But it's easier to play for new people.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's because they've made a whole new system. Here's what I think Activision's mindset is, right? They have already confirmed that Warzone will continue for the foreseeable future. They've said, like, Warzone is 100% our focus going forward. That's why, did you know World War II Vanguard?
Well, they freaking moved Toys for Bob onto it, which sucks too.
Well, and you know that World War II Vanguard,
studio.
World War II Vanguard almost got scrapped. They were literally almost not going to release it this year.
Good.
Because it was to a point where they were like,
can we talk about real fast how disappointing it is that the next Call of Duty is going to be another World War II
I know.
game? Like,
I'm
not
sorry.
even
How
buying it.
successful was World War II?
It wasn't.
Not the actual war. the
Very
game.
successful. Many bombs.
Yes, many people killed. No, but like the World War II, it came out between Black Ops 4 and Infinite Warfare, and it did not go over well. Like from what I remember, it was probably one of the least selling Call of Duty games, you know? And so for them to be making a sequel, I can see why they were this close to being like, no, we're not releasing it, you know? And so that's why, in my opinion, that's why Treyarch's doing the zombies. Because what I think what was originally going to happen is Treyarch was going to continue zombies in Cold War. And then Activision's like, stop. There's no zombies mode in World War II, so we need you to make that one. And they're like, okay, fine. And so now it's literally going to be World War II Vanguard multiplayer, and that's it. I don't think there's going to be a campaign or a co-op mode. Because what I think they're going to do
is that now this is the thing is it's like they're essentially asking consumers to buy another $60 to $70 game to essentially get just a few more zombies maps when those zombies maps should have been coming with Cold War if it was a normal like dev cycle.
Well, and that's why I think that Treyarch is going for a more of a system where buying the new Call of Duty release will be for multiplayer only. Because the way I look at it is if you pull up Cold War right now, the menu, it has Cold War, Warzone, Modern Warfare. You can pick between them. What they're trying to do is eventually it'll say multiplayer, Warzone, zombies. Because then you can go onto the multiplayer and it'll be whatever the new Call of Duty is. It'll be World War II, it'll be Modern Warfare 2, it'll be Infinite Warfare 2, whatever. And then zombies will remain zombies. Treyarch will solely make zombies. You know, and it'll be a zombies to where that way they can just update, they can keep zombies as the same engine. Because the reason why zombies fails and succeeds sometimes, the reason why Black Ops 2 Zombies was so successful is because the engine was fun to play on. The reason Black Ops 4 Zombies was so unsuccessful is because the engine was not fun, right? Call of Duty Cold War Zombies is the most successful zombies ever because people love the engine. Being able to pick up guns off the ground, rarities, everything, open world. So they're going to just continue with that engine. They're going to say, okay, instead of us remaking a whole new engine for zombies, just to have it maybe not succeed, we're just going to keep zombies as one singular engine and just add maps to it. Right?
What sucks,
It'll
though,
be like Warzone. Boom, boom,
about
boom,
that is like if Treyarch's owning zombies, they're the only ones that can make. It seems like they're the only ones that can make a good
Call of
multiplayer.
Duty. Yeah,
like a good solid multiplayer, right? Like,
well,
that just every multiplayer is just going to suck from now on. So Call of Duty multiplayer is dead.
Well, so the head,
right? Like
the head of Treyarch right now is the original Zombies developer for World at War. It's not Vondahar anymore, and it's not Jason Blundell. It's literally the guy who started Zombies. He runs Treyarch now, and so it's like he kind of loves zombies. Obviously, I'm sorry, but like, yeah, I love Cold War multiplayer, but you can tell they focused a lot on zombies. They made a whole new system and engine that's much more similar to Warzone, where it's got the rarities, the chests, and everything. I mean, that's how Warzone is.
The Black Ops or Cold War Cold War multiplayer is literally Modern Warfare's multiplayer. It's the exact same.
And think about it. There's a reason it was so bare bones when it came out. It had 6 maps? It had the least amount of maps ever, right?
Super low.
And Zombies came out with 2 modes and a map. And not only that, they've had Outbreak, which has had like 5 regions now. Like they have been going and trying to show like, hey, we care about zombies, you know? But they literally don't do that much shiz with multiplayer. They really don't, you know? And so that's why I think multiplayer will be the continuous thing that is the new Call of Duty. And then Zombies and Warzone will be persistent. They will never change engines unless it's out for like 5 years, 10 years. So
nice. Should we move on to Ubisoft and Square Enix? If you guys have anything.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything for them. Like, because I know they're not going to. Assassin's Creed won't be coming out this year. There won't be anything this year, so I don't know. Other than like,
is there not going to be an Assassin's Creed this year?
I think they're taking a break.
Don't they take a year break?
They do a year break now.
Well, they used to not to, but I guess they have recently, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
they said like the year cycle wasn't really working anymore after like Unity and Syndicate, they were like, we're gonna take a break.
Well, they've been saying that they're doing like 2-year cycles of DLC. That's what they did with Odyssey, and it seems like what they're doing with Valhalla.
So I'm sure we'll see Valhalla DLC, but
oh sure, yeah.
Like
I mean, they just announced
a
a new one
for
like as far as
honestly.
Ubisoft, nothing. Like
Watch
Square
Dogs,
Enix, you could have Square Enix, you could have what's it called? The Final Fantasy 7 Part 2. There's supposed to be a Part 2 for the remake, so you might have that. But otherwise, like
Square Enix made Outriders, right?
Yes,
they get the Outriders DLC.
Might get some DLC, but
because Outriders
I doubt that even it's too early and their game wasn't functioning. Their game still is like struggling a little bit.
I don't know. Outriders said that they're not a game of service, but they say they probably will have DLC. So I could definitely see them already having it being basically finished and just releasing it.
Maybe they'll make it 4 players.
So I know.
Seriously, Hasten, here's something for you. What do you think's the situation with Avengers? Is Square Enix going to support that game, or is it done in the water?
That thing's shutting down, sadly. It's not. There's not a big enough player base to support it. Like I've beaten all the DLCs that they had, but there's just like everyone's trashing on it, and it's not going to be successful with the fan base that it has.
I agree. It's sad. It's sad. It's an Anthem situation.
I actually I love that game. I love that they went somewhere different with the story. Like, but I know a lot of people didn't like it and they thought it was too basic. But I thought it was really good. Like, I feel like a lot of people didn't give it a shot. They played like a couple missions and then just was like, this is terrible. So
what the question is like,
are you talking about me?
You and Parker. Yeah.
Trying to putting a gun at yourself. No.
I'd play Avengers if I had it on PC. I just cannot play it on Xbox One.
My question is so they've already promised 2 heroes that we have no release dates for, which is Black Panther and Spider-Man. And so how's that going to work? If this is that going to happen, or are they just
they're going to do them, but like you can tell by like what they're doing, they just don't care. Like at this point, the game's not making money, so why would they throw more money into it? The only way they're going to make money is if Black Panther somehow recedes it, which he's not. He's not going to do it. Like it's not going to be enough.
No, I don't think so either.
Spider-Man, on the other hand,
could be really big, but he's only coming to PlayStation.
Here's what I'll say. Yep. I wouldn't give up hope completely because games like Sea of Thieves blew up because of like streamers and stuff. Because like Summit 1G, Sea of Thieves was dead. Nobody played Sea of Thieves. And then people like Summit started playing it and it blew up. That could happen to Avengers at any point.
Here's what Avengers needs to do. It needs to go free to play.
Yep. I'm surprised it wasn't in the first place, if I'm honest.
Yeah, like honestly,
I mean, it had a full story.
I think if they made it free to play, at least the multiplayer stuff, have the campaign. Have the campaign and stuff cost money, but like if they have the multiplayer go free to play, I honestly think that could like give it a chance.
I think there are a lot of games that have blown my mind that don't go free to play. Right, like Sea of Thieves, Anthem. I just saw it.
Fallout 76.
Sea of Thieves.
Fallout 76.
And the thing with Sea of Thieves is like it's essentially, in a way, feels free to play if you have Game Pass, right?
Well, sure.
And so it's like
once again,
Avengers needs to come to Game Pass or something like that. Like give it that boost, if nothing else.
Okay, I heard this perfectly. Games that are free, people are more likely to buy microtransactions because it's free.
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
I'm sorry if I don't spend a dime on a game, I'm gonna be like, oh, I didn't even buy the game, so I'm gonna spend $10 and buy a DLC. I tell you what, if Avengers was like, okay, free to play, but Black Panther is gonna be $10, people will start to play it, and they're like, hey, it's fun. I want to buy Black Panther now. 5 million people buy Black Panther, or 2 million people buy Black Panther. That's really
the problem
successful.
To me isn't like I think the gameplay is fun. It's just that. I'm gonna be honest. There is repetitive characters, right? You only fight robots in that game. You don't fight any actual people other enemies. Than MODOK and the other 2 guys.
Abomination.
So unless they do something different, and which they could with Black Panther, they could have you fight like the other people, but they needed to get off the aim stuff and stop having just the robots.
It's really too bad because I feel like they had such great potential with the world that they have, all these characters, right? And they just didn't capitalize fully on it. It's kind of weird.
They have it's like the most star-studded voice cast I've ever seen in a video game. Mm-hmm. Like you got the best voice actors as far as video games goes voicing every single one of these characters.
Well, look, it pisses me off because these big time companies, they get these super passionate developers to make a game that they love, a universe that they love, right? And then they rush them. That's what happened with Anthem. I'm sorry. It's so sad to hear the developers talking on Twitter for Anthem. They're like, I loved Anthem. I took 5 years out of my life to create the lore and the backstory for these enemy races. And for people like EA to be like, F you, right? You're done, right? We don't want you anymore. I'm sorry, but Square Enix is becoming that type of company. They looked at Avengers, this company that probably was having a blast making Avengers, and they're like, okay, it needs repetitiveness, it needs microtransactions, it needs any sort of way that we can make extra money and get the players to grind, right? Because I guarantee you, if they would have just let whoever made the Avengers game have free reign, it would have been a lot better. It would have been a lot better, 100%.
I swear, what they did was they were like, okay, we're going to make everything, as far as Avengers goes, just copy Destiny. Like your menus, everything like that, all your looting stuff, copy it, and then just like poop it out.
That's what bothers me is too many companies think they're like, okay, we have to make a game like Destiny because Destiny's actually successful now. You know, they're like, okay, we have to make the Destiny killer. They're like, let's rush it. We have to rush it out so it can rival Destiny. No game has ever touched Destiny. Destiny is the only fantasy looter shooter RPG MMO that has ever been even remotely successful.
That's ever existed.
That's ever existed. Yeah.
A lot of genres in one.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of games that try and they just fall straight on their face.
Borderlands 3.
Borderlands 3, yeah. But it's definitely got its own thing, its own mojo going. I wouldn't necessarily say Borderlands 3 is an MMO because it's not massive.
Let's throw that out there real fast too. I don't think we'll see them at E3 at all, but 2K. Like, are we GTA 6? When are we going to see that? We know it exists.
Rockstar, you mean?
It's going to happen. Yeah, well, 2K is the publisher, right? And then Rockstar's the developer.
Are they? I thought Rockstar was its own company.
I mean, I could be wrong. I could have swore that. Like,
I could be wrong too. I don't know.
I swear 2K was involved with GTA, but I could be wrong. Regardless, Rockstar,
they are not apparently at E3, but
yeah, no, they never are. But when are we going to see?
I don't think we see it. No, I think it's still a ways away.
Think so?
GTA 5 is still successful. They still come out with updates pretty regularly. So
it's crazy to think, though. Next year, 2 years from now, it's gonna be 10 years since GTA 5. Like, it just seemed like they're gonna make GTA 6. It has to be in development.
Yeah, but it's also like Elder Scrolls. You know, like it's been 10 years since Elder Scrolls 5. Like,
true.
I don't know. True. Like, you think about GTA 4 came out 2008. Right?
I have no idea. Yeah,
4 or 5 years before GTA. I know, 5.
But even between 4 and 5, you had like Vice City and some other.
Sure, but those are spinoffs because the reason they did that is because constant updates weren't really a part of the game. They didn't have to make spinoffs for GTA 5 because they were able to just add it into GTA 5.
Yeah,
you know. So like literally GTA 5 has gotten how many updates? Like every month they're like, "Oh, there's a new casino." You know, it's like
we haven't even gotten, which is already confirmed, GTA 5 for the new consoles. So like we're not getting GTA 6 this year. Or next year.
Great point. Yeah. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, they had the whole trailers and everything for the PS5.
Yeah, it's not coming soon.
Yeah, they wouldn't do GTA 6 knowing that that's still coming.
I think they're working on it, but I think it's going to be it's going to be one of those games that's so big that it's going to be like it's going to take a while.
Yeah.
If we're talking 2K,
it's going to be huge.
If we're talking 2K though, I'd like to mention Gearbox because I'm sure there's going to be something Borderlands. I know Randy Pitchford said that there's like a lot of Borderlands news coming. I mean, I don't know if it's the movie or not, but I could potentially see quite a bit of Borderlands stuff this year.
Movie and a DLC, maybe.
Yeah,
I think we'll potentially see like maybe a new Sonic game if Sega's going to be there. I obviously have no idea what that looks like, but it's been a while since we've gotten like a new 3D Sonic game that people actually like. But they used to come out all the time. But
too much.
Capcom and Sega are both going to E3. I think Xbox bought one of them.
Sega for the Asian market.
That would be insane.
I think that's one of Xbox's announcements because there's already been rumors about them buying Sega. So I think I don't know. I think they're going to have.
I'd say one of Xbox's top
is
priorities
more likely than Capcom. But
yeah, I agree. But I do think they're buying one of the two.
I do think that one of Xbox's top priorities is to get a company that will be for their Eastern market. You know, I mean, that's where Xbox struggles the most.
Well, and that's why they're really excited about having Tango in the Bethesda purchase. That's like their one Japanese studio. So yeah, I think it's likely that we see some purchases from Eastern developers from Microsoft. I think Sega's a little too much out there. It would be awesome if they did. If anyone can do it, it's Microsoft.
No way they can afford it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. Sega,
they're the one company that could afford them.
Yeah,
but like
Sega's on the same level as like Bethesda for sure.
Capcom not gonna happen, I don't think, because Capcom's so successful right now. Like they are literally killing it with Resident Evil, Devil May Cry, all their franchises. Like I
don't even think full tilt. Capcom would be willing to get purchased. I don't think
they would. No. Yeah. Like they're doing so good.
Sega, on the other hand, I feel like they're like, oh yeah.
We haven't done significant in a while. 20 years, so.
Sega definitely is a possibility.
Like I do think Sega used to be definitely a big player. Like, but I think now they
used to have their own console.
Yeah, I think now they're pretty close with like companies like Bethesda and stuff. Like they're not like super huge anymore. I mean, name an IP they have besides Sonic.
Name one game they've released besides.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, can you name a game from Sega that like
they released
in the past year?
Sonic Generations. It came out I think 2 years ago.
I'm pretty sure they published Bayonetta for Nintendo. But
that's a big one.
The fact that we're having to debate something that came out like from Sega, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, so Tanner, Bungie, tell us about what you think we'll see from.
I think we'll see Bungie at Xbox, just because there's some huge leaks right now. I mean, take it with a grain of salt, but Bungie or Destiny might have a crossover with Halo, which is crazy. We might see like some Halo weapons in Destiny and stuff because it's Halo's 20th anniversary and it's Bungie's 30th. And so I do potentially think that we see Bungie surprise guest on Xbox. I think they announced their new expansion, Witch Queen, because I mean they've already announced for the next 4 years their expansions, and Bungie also expanded their studio a while ago. We haven't talked about it yet. It's huge. Like they're basically becoming like an Activision, like international studio. They're wanting to extend out into other media, which potentially means hopefully like a Netflix show, which would be sick. And then who knows what else. I think that's exciting. But yeah, other than that, Bungie, yeah, I don't know if we see anything else from them. Maybe just like a trailer for their new expansion. That's it. I don't know. We'll see.
Nice. I was gonna say for Capcom real fast, one of my hopes is that we potentially see the Resident Evil 4 remake. I think it's a little soon. I think I don't think it'll be ready yet, but that's one of my hopes.
Seems like they're doing one a year.
Yeah, so they've been on a schedule. Yeah.
I'm excited for Resident Evil on Oculus. That's gonna be so awesome.
That is cool. Yeah, I Capcom I just think is literally killing it lately.
I'm too much of a baby to play scary games. There's no way I could do it in
It's so scary.
Oh my gosh, dude! I have to mention that. I just beat Half-Life Alyx like 2 weeks ago. It's awesome, but it is so freaking terrifying in VR to have the head crabs jump at you, because they like get ready and they like and they jump and they have like their like what looks like a freaking sphincter that like jumps onto your head and it's like pincers and you're like and you're like trying to grab it off. But it's in VR. You have to like shoot it. Oh my gosh, it's terrifying. I was like pissing my pants. Honey, hand me the gun. Hand me the gun. Honey, it's VR. No, hand me the gun.
It's real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh.
VR offers a lot of exciting opportunities. I've been beating Resident Evil 7, and I could never play that in VR. Holy crap.
I'd love to see every game come into VR. With a VR experience. I think it'd be sick.
Be interesting. Well, that concludes this episode of the Super Basement Bro Show. We thank you guys for watching. You guys have anything else to add?
Nope.
Cool. We will see you guys at E3. Let us know your predictions, and we'll see what we got right and wrong.
Bye.